What is Exodus about, and how can I get a better understanding of the Bible as a whole? We're going to discuss that in this video. This video is a part of a larger series of videos called The Disciple. If you go to our YouTube channel, Bethel Pittsburgh, and go under playlist, you'll find a playlist titled The Disciple. And in there, you will find that the titles of the videos will say The Disciple and then a category. And all the videos are arranged in category order, so you can move to the category that you want to look into. This is under the category of Bible knowledge, and the subcategory is a review of a summary of the books of the Bible. And we're looking at Exodus. We've previously done Genesis. And I decided one of the ways to go about this is just flip through the pages of Scripture, and the more knowledgeable you are of what's there, the more you can just kind of glance and know what's going on, which is what I'm going to do. And so you can do this as well, skim through the pages of a book of the Bible to get a basic summary quickly. Now, why would I want to do that? One of the reasons is because the whole reason that we have the Bible is so that we can learn and understand who God is and know how to seek Him and know how to live within His will and know how to approach life in a way that results in receiving His favor and His work and His salvation into our lives. And the way that you can understand the Bible correctly is by knowing how to interpret it. And the way you know how to interpret it is by having a solid amount of knowledge about the context of the statements that you're reading within. So that's why you would do a summary of a book, so that you have general context of the book of Exodus. So what you get in Exodus, so Genesis ends with the comment about Joseph dying. So you get the death of all the patriarchs, and it's around that time that Genesis ends. Exodus begins with the Israelites are now in this enslavement period in Egypt, and they are approximately 400 years. So when you flip through the pages from Genesis to Exodus, Genesis 50 to Exodus 1, you're jumping forward 400 years. And even then, you're just kind of skimming things, and there's a point of focus. So chapter 1 talks about the enslavement and why they're there, and kind of catches you up uses some genealogy and kind of catches you up from where you were at Genesis. Chapter 2 tells the story about Moses' birth, why Moses is a significant figure. Chapter 2 and 3 tells about his conversation with God, his fleeing, and then the setting up for Moses to confront Pharaoh, which you move into chapter 4, and that begins to happen. And chapter 5, Pharaoh responds to the attempt by Moses to liberate the Jews, or at least to get them to be able to go out into the wilderness to sacrifice to God, to make sacrifices to God. And from that point of Exodus, the next few chapters, chapters 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, next several chapters, 11, you get the story of the plagues and the conversation with Pharaoh and Moses on and off, trying to lead to this deliverance. Chapter 12 is when you get the institution of the Passover lamb, which is a very significant chapter, because that's what describes for us how we get the Passover, which really correlates to communion and to the sacrifice of Christ. So it's a very significant chapter of Scripture. And then you get the 13, some more consecration of the firstborn as you lead into the exiting out of Egypt, the Exodus, the parting of the Red Sea, and all that in chapter 14. And then chapter 15, you get a song of deliverance. Now this book is 40 chapters long, so we're not even halfway through it before we've completed the Exodus, and now we get a song about that in 15. And then now in 16, they're in the wilderness. And so you get some stories of what's happening in the wilderness in 16, and 17, and 18, and in 19. Moses goes up to Mount Sinai. So the first few chapters of Exodus, you're getting the context of why they're there, and you're getting Moses' birth. and it kind of his background story. And then the next several chapters, you get into the confrontation of Pharaoh and the Exodus and then the Passover. And then the next few chapters, you're getting some of the stories of the wanderings in the wilderness. And then this is why this book is an interesting book to interpret, because it falls under predominantly two literary styles, and that is narrative, that is the telling of stories, be it historical here, and diction, issuing commands and orders. And the first half of Exodus, almost the first half, the first 19 chapters are all narrative. And then chapter 20, you get into diction, because that's where you get the 10 Commandments in chapter 20. And then you start to get other kinds of laws in 21, 22, 23, 24. You get regulations of how to offer sacrifices, 25 and 6. You start to get the organization of the tabernacle and how that and worship and sacrifices and how that's set up. You get the altar. 27, you start to get organization of the priest in 28 and 29. Then you get some more sacrificial things in 30. You get people, craftsmen, building various aspects of the artifacts in the tabernacle. And then all of a sudden, abruptly, you get back into narrative some. You get in chapter 32 the golden calf incident, where Moses is up getting orders from God on the mountain, and the people of Israel panic because of his absence of leadership, and they decide to make a golden calf and worship that instead of God, or as if he is God. And then Moses comes down and he confronts that, and you get some issues that ensue in 34. Moses had broken the tablets when he saw the golden calf. He was outraged, threw him down. So in 34, you get the tablets remade, the second tablets that the Ten Commandments were written on. And then you get more laws regarding the Sabbath in 35, the tabernacle, things around the tabernacle, again in 36 and 37, 38. Things regarding priest garments in 39, and then 40 you get the tabernacle erected. So again, Exodus is basically it's the summary of how the Jews ended up in Egypt, the backstory of Moses, and then the confrontation with Pharaoh and the Exodus out of Egypt, the Passover instituted, and then some of the wilderness wanderings. That's the first half of the book. The second half of the book are predominant laws with a few stories sprinkled in there. So that's what's happening in Exodus. If you have any questions on that, leave that in the comments below. I'd be glad to answer them. Or if you would like to grow in your faith in person and you live in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, we would love for you to join us. We have a dinner and discussion group Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. and our service is Sunday at 10 a.m. We are Bethel Assembly of God at 2501 Staten Street. Or if you can't join us in person, you can join us via live streaming. We stream our Sunday 10 a.m. services live on our YouTube channel, Bethel Pittsburgh. Again, live Sundays at 10 a.m. We hope to see you at either place, but may God richly bless you.